Hey there, friends. Tonight, we slip gently into the shadowed, rhythmic world of Victorian factory life. That quiet era of long hours under dim lights, where the air hung heavy with whispers of coal and time. Before we settle in, perhaps like this video if it speaks to you, and subscribe only if it truly resonates. Share in the comments where you're joining from and what hour marks your night. It's a gentle wonder to connect across the globe. Now, soften the lights. Let a fan hum softly in the background and drift with me into this evening's tale. Your first day as a Victorian factory worker unfolds much as all such quiet tragedies did, with the toll of a bell. Not a soft morning note, but one that rings deep and insistent, stirring you from the dark. Outside, pitch blackness lingers. The sun lingers in rest. Even the rats hold to their night vigils. Yet, you must rise. You ease from a straw mattress, woven with the weight of weary days. Its edges firm against your form. Your back shifts with a faint creak, like aged timber yielding. Joints murmur their quiet protest in the chill air. Your breath gathers into pale clouds, crafting its own misty veil. Breakfast waits, as yesterday's bread, hardened to the heft of ancient stone. You break it, teeth meeting resistance without yield. No butter graces it, no jam, no warm cup of coffee, for such comforts belong to distant halls and foreign lands. Victorian workers kindled their dawn with the steady pulse of endurance alone. You dress in garments woven coarse and unyielding, fibers that cling with historical weight, stiffen bearing the faint echo of past wearers. Stepping out, the world greets you softly, reconsidering every path that led here. The air blends soot, coal mist, damp fog, and a subtle undercurrent of city's quiet sorrow. A cough echoes nearby, resonant and hollow, like wind through forgotten reeds. A child hurries past, already bound for a full day's labor. For, in Victorian England, childhood flickered brief as a candle's edge. The street gleams, slick with unnamed moisture. Your shoes, humbled leather bound by faint hope, yield to the wet, ushering in a damp chill to your steps. Well begun, then, with the first hints of that persistent unease. The factory bell tolls again, deeper now, drawing you onward. You quicken, not from eagerness, but from the shadow of foremen's watchful gaze, their words sharp as winter wind. And yet, the true heart of the day lies ahead. The machines, the dust, the overseer whose manner held the plain severity of unadorned earth. Morning lingers, and already a whisper rises. This trial may outlast us, perhaps return to rest. Your journey to the factory offers no bright stroll, no dawn's glow, no bird's call or neighbor's calm greeting. Instead, you enter a street veiled in fog, thick as gathered mist from old tailies, colored like sodden stone, scented with the slow breath of industry and lingering echoes of breath. The path below is a blend of mud and soot, each step risking the hold of your shoe, precious as years of toil, offering scant shield from the cold. Wildlife stirs nearby, rats bold as companions, meeting your gaze without retreat, their look conveying a quiet. The factory calls. Steady on, Eva. Even they sense the weight of it. You pass tight rows of dwellings, where families gathered 8 souls to one shadowed room, sharing air thick with shared fates and faint illnesses. Laundry sags in the damp, dripping slow to the stones below, untouched by sun since some long-reigning Georgia's time. Children, who might elsewhere dream or learn letters, hasten by with tools in hand, some mere 5 years marked. At that tender span today, hues and shapes fill young minds. There, the art of skirting worry perils, poignant in its shadowed grace. Nearing the factory, the sky deepens, not by clouds alone, but by rising smoke, crafting in twilight born of human hands. Chimneys exhale dark plumes, steady as ancient beasts clearing their breath. Moments in this air age, the lungs with gentle haste. Crossing a slim bridge, you peer to the river below. Once clear flow, now a brooding broth of dyes, lost life, and unspoken tolls. It stirs faintly. Water holds such motion only under heat's command. Noted well. Best avoid its embrace, lest it grant strange gifts or swift end. And then, as depths seem plumbed, The bell resounds once more, clear and metallic, laced with inevitability. Pace lifts, drawn by dread of the foreman's note. He, a figure of stern lines, anger woven deep with the brim of his hat, reaching the gates, shoes heavy with soak, lungs touched by haze, spirit softened at the edges. Such was the passage alone. The shift awaits, untouched. Having endured this veiled transit, worthy of quiet honor, you draw near the factory itself, that vast edifice where hopes and posture find their rest, rising from smog like a mountain of brick, sparing windows, air, and fleeting joys. Immense, it looms watchful, seeming forsaken yet brimming within. First comes the sound. Before sight, a low roar of metal, like storm met by clashing tools. A symphony of clanks, whirs, bangs, and steams, occasional sigh, heavy with its own burdens. Ears strain against the tide. Doors stand as iron slabs, weighty as dungeon wards or guarded holds. Their touch hesitant, bearing tales of mishaps past, of hands to near. Within, warmth collides with clamor and grit. A veil dense with presence. Light filters faint through panes caked and fractured. Dust drifts, settled, as if claimed the space. Figures glide through mist, like specters bound to labor. Floor shifts uneven, slick with oil. Filings, earth, and veils, best unnamed for peace of mind. Each footfall courts uncertainty, a risk unmet by remedy. The urge rises to turn back, to flee eras, or fates. But the foreman marks you, hewn from frowns and era's weight, master of the glare that hastens hands. His gaze warns, linger not toward home. New shadows await. Machines rise before you, looms vast, gears turning, belts endless, presses unyielding, all steam-driven with relentless will. Each seems poised to claim in a stray glance. Shift unborn you stand amid haze, to a chorus of metal's breath, sensing deep, this place claims no kinship with your ease. Mind murmurs retreat, lungs their farewell, heart ponders gentler trades, like bread's warm craft. Too late now. Welcome to the factory. On this first dawn within, no gentle rite awaits, no guide with kind word, no scroll or shadowed reel teaching safe. Victorian ways offered one creed: shun the swift spin. Training arrives stark. A foreman gestures to a engine vast as a coach, and speaks measured, "You tend this." Those words form your guide, your codex, your full lore. You gaze upon the machine. It regards you in turn, vast and unyielding. Deep within, a quiet voice stirs, murmuring of days well spent. Victorian machinery holds no warmth, no clear markings, no hues to guide the eye. No ready halt awaits the hasty touch. Instead, it forms a labyrinth of gears meshed tight, belts in endless coil, pistons rising and falling, steam pipes weaving through, all clamoring for notice, now and then casting forth warm droplets like distant rain from iron clouds. Your task falls gentle upon you, to hold the rhythm steady, though much lies shrouded in mystery, parts whose purpose evades even seasoned hands. A fellow worker draws near, an elder marked by time's quiet toll, 3 fingers gone, his spirit tempered soft by years. He serves as guide. Over the din, his voice carries firm, "Keep your sleeve from the grasp." Then he turns away, for such counsel spans the breadth of wisdom here. You nod in quiet accord, as if this lone caution shields against the many paths to harm the engine plots in silence. You watch the others move, their hands flowing swift and sure, shaped by fate's long embraced. They reach, draw, turn, feed, press, twist. In patterns woven deep, a silent rite passed through shadows to those who follow. The foreman passes once more, his gaze steady and deep, as if slowness wounds him personally. "Faster," he calls. Though you seek the heart of the work, questions linger unspoken, for inquiry betrays the novice, and the new bear risks unseen. Perhaps the post they name the hand's quiet keeper, where raw stuff meets the maw. Each moment, in this hush of learning, dims the span ahead. Your heart quickens soft, Palms gather dew. Garments turn foe in the press. Eyes scan the haze for hidden shifts. Here, before this iron sentinel, armed only with caution and the count of limbs, true teaching dawns not as endure, but endure a while longer. With this veiled right behind, little more than a call to guard your form amid the roar. Now meet your silent partners, the engines of the age, towering forms, breathed to life by steam, crafted without mercy, stern as reckoners in lean times. Modern kin, hum soft, guide with care. Pause at a breath's whisper. These follow another creed. Motion meets crush. Stillness meets the same. Your hand extends first, trembling faint into the realm. Around you gather signs, not scribed on board. For such arts lay unborn, warnings live in flesh. One lacks a thumb's curve, another fingertip's edge. The elder beside you bears loss so woven into memory, its shape fades. Belts of leather whirl too near thought, visible one breath. Then haze that claims cloth, poise, limb in seamless arc. You tuck your weave close, yet Victorian thread yields not, bends not, aids not. Snared once, it draws all with it. You turn to the feed, guiding raw yield as bidden. Gears murmur deep, pistons heave rhythmic, each clash a veiled murmur of intent. The frame trembles groundward, bound by rusts, hush, faint hope, unspoken will. Voices rise now and then. Watch the hands, mind a turn. Counsel sound, yet resolve already guards the whole. These engines heed no vow. They sense the falter, draw near the tremor. And you, fear flows steady as the steam. Once, sleeve grazes a cog's swift breath. Moments stretch. Visions rise unbidden. Days long past, even the sting of lost bread and youth. You draw back whole, and a nod meets you. Seal of shadowed passage earned. Whispers tell of one in corner named the gentle biter. Wisdom holds the tongue. By noon, the truth settles. Fingers held loose allegiance here. The iron claimed deeper bonds. Draw breath, deep. Pause. In this hall, such draws falter. Air here forsakes its name, turns foe, subtle and thick. A blend fine-woven, dusts, veil, suits, shadow, steam's warm sigh, oil's faint mist, laced with echoes of shared toil. From the threshold, lungs stir in quiet revolt. Each draw grates, soft as stone's kiss. Each release bargains with choice and fate. Breath shifts to art. Measured haze takes form, you see. Lint from woven threads and mills, filings from ironkin. Coal's black breath from engines poised on spark's edge. They drift free, merry at your cost. Soon throat parches, eyes gather mist. Chest folds like bellows worn. Workers named it daily grace. Healers now would bid swift flight, yet dawn's toil unfolds. Coughs weave constant, not light ripples, but deep calls rolling floor to beam. Resonant as ancient winds, rattles rise, labored as engines cold. None shield the breath, all cling to wakeful thread. Should form yield solid, that rests with right and shadow. Heat gathers to steam's gift unyielding, air thick as bathhouse veiled or cauldron's slow simmer. Sweat breaks free at once, mingling soot to birth the glaze. Dark and clinging, etched to skin through washes vein. Lungs weigh heavier with stride. Deeper in, shadows thicken. Mid-morning finds you husbanding air like sage and cloister hush. New coughs, born in cadence. Forms shaping in mist. Engine stern, overseer grave, or will's own mist. Departing soft, no flight waits. Pains hold sealed. To par them invites outer breath. Prize for those beyond this steamlit vigil. Noon nears, no healer's word required. A portal through time alone serves. This breath speaks industry's quiet plea. Seek home, should air's grasp seem dire. Heat now the chorus, woven through. Sound here claims not backdrop gentle, but tide ceaseless, settling deep in thought's hall. It fills the vault of mind, tenant unbidden. Step within, and it meets full. Wait upon sense. Engine scowl, clash, Grind, whirl, sigh, strike and weave, wild yet bound. Symphony too, hush even storm's kin, loud, not alone, but fierce. Insistent, etching dreams unasked. Ears bend inward first. Seek fold or flight. Quiet nook within. None grants peace. Only swells await. Then greater still. Words falter, shared. To reach the near. Cry as if soul laid bare long hid. Oft it drifts, unheard. Engines claim all echo. Even thought's own voice. Mercy in silence granted. First you shield. Palms cup. Head turns. Please rise soft. Sound pierces bone deep. Engines, speech. Direct, no plugs warded ear. Then, close is right. Thread stuffed close. Seed of half woes. Born hours unfold slow. Mind bends ill. Patterns form in clash, as if code dark spelled thread in pulse. One piston hums, with a rhythm that, attended long enough, echoes faint as laughter from the deep. And in that moment, clarity settles. The engines speak not merely loud, but with a quiet edge of mockery toward the frail form before them. Nerves soften to threads worn thin. Shoulders gather close and tensions hush. Clarity frays at the edges. Time dissolves into shadow, unmarked and vast. Thoughts weave into a single, ceaseless murmur for quiet's embrace. Yet the engines heed no plea of weariness. They draw breath from steam's warm veil, coal's steady burn, and an undercurrent of unyielding will. Their chorus endures, through shifts close, or age's slow turn. Workers of that time yielded hearing by degrees, gentle fade into silence. Years hastens now, perhaps joined by spirit's own retreat. By the first hour's close, longing stirs not alone for peace, but for reckoning with the iron voices. Just as engines seem the hull's deepest shadow, a figure emerges more quietly, draining, drifting into view through steam's soft shroud. The overseer. Victorian keepers held no gift for gentle word or heart's warmth. Chosen they were for dispositions etched in lasting discontent, gazes piercing wall and will alike, voices honed to cleave clamor and faint hope in equal measure. He forms from mist like a spectre bound duty's weight, undershadowed wage. His stance holds rigid as oak unbent, face carved in somber lines, brows fixed in eternal measure of shortfall. Strangers though you be, a dead unspoken weighs upon you already. Garb falls plain, trousers dusted gray, waistcoat worn, boots tempered by countless dreams pressed underfoot. Yet true essence radiates in quiet command, a field of strain that straightens spines at his pass, hastening hands with urgency born of storm's approach. No smile graces him, no blink softens the watch. Judgment alone prevails. His call to hasten, faster, counsel-shaped stern, that falters wrong. Mercy voiced plain. Thought earns no wage, he draws near measured. As hunter wearied, by the chase of quarry slow, you seek poise amid the peril's ring, though natural form evades in death's iron kin. Sweat tracés slow paths down spine's curve, hands quiver faint gaze meets his a breath, then flees. Such meetings sense the tremor within, his word falls not as welcome, but query veiled in caution. Is this your utmost measure? Spirit stirs distant a moment. He gestures to the engine, calls counsel, unyielding. Soon they bind, old they flow. You incline in accord, though fault lies hid when mechanism turns willful, halting mirth in midst of toil. Around, veterans trace paths, precise as clockwork shades, veiling terror deep within. Seasons teach them, weakness draws his sense, keen as hound, to trace. Should one falter, wound or spirit fled brief, his voice rises clear through gin. Seek you replacement? Reply unspoken ways, waging against void. Here dawns truth, clamor, grit, even iron's grasp, yield to the keeper stands as industry's shadowed heart. You might hold, as one of later days, with claim to rest and water's need. That midday pause grants breath, renewal, spark to will's faint ember. In these halls, Such interlude marks time to labor on, while lips meet vague sustenance. Bell tolls soft its signal for this hallowed span. Hallowed yet scant 8 measures, swayed by keeper's tempered grace. Eberwi, engines hold their breath, not. Hands cease not. Dread's quiet veil lifts none. Hope alone pauses, brief as mist. Sustenance drawst from pockets hold, unspoilt by melt. Bread of yestereve, now stones can faint. Potato chilled and creased, orchis rare won, at week's half toil, scent sharp as ward's edge. Hands unsteady draw it forth. Dust's veil brushed gentle aside. Bite taken slow. Flavor yields to need. Calories alone suffice, no seat claims the weary. Such hints rest, and rest humanity's mark. All stand bend to post like twilight watchers, supping shadowed fare amid parts that turn meal to peril swift. Should morsel fall to floor's embrace, choice ways, heavy, reclaim, forsake, or yield to tear. Sign perhaps that repast ends unbegun. Most stoop to lift. 5 breaths. Grace. Vigilant. Lest whiskered kin claim first. Clamor veils even mastication's hush. Mercy granted. For Victorian yield sings no melody fair. Jaw labors long oarloaf, fit for mason's craft. Dust motes drift to mingle, granting crunch unscribed in lore. Now and then, weary jest or smile, faint passes kinward, yet tide drowns all. Mirth finds ban not in decree, but air's unyielding weight. Grin rises rare, born of breath, grown thin. Stomach stirs to foe's late kin, when keeper strides and calls measured. Span closed. Spirit folds inward. 8 breaths fled. Potato lingers half. Jaw wearied, essence dimmed. 10 hours stretch shadowed ahead. Thus unfolds the midday vigil. Afternoon gathers, energy fled not lessened, but vanished whole. As travelers slipped quiet through postern to lands afar, form persists on impulse deep. Dread's hush, faint yield from chilled root hasten down. Engines mark not the void. Keeper tends naught. Time itself lingers reluctant, savoring vigil's weight. Arms bare ache from dawn's repeated arc unchanged. Back bends, as if scripted for sorrow's stage. Legs quiver soft, fingers numb their hold. Numbness balm and shadow twin, where loss counts mild in dais ledger. This hour names historians gentle afternoon ebb, or your own final yielding. Lids weigh heavy as dusk. Sway claims the frame, not dance's grace, but earth's patient claim. Each breath spans as age. Each age wounds personnel. Mind, starved beyond clash and frown's steady fall, wanders soft. Meadows green under sun's hush. Rivers, quiet bend, or void, in kinder span. Hand falters then. Wakefulness claims, sharp. Engine waits, not dreamer's drift, poised to sheer vast from form. Kin around mirror the fade. Some trace paths sightless as night owls spent. Eyes veiled in haze. Pale hunger marks, others. Few seem communed with shades from weariness pure. None yields. Engines turn, so must you. For halt courts limb to crafts, stern kiss. Queries rise unbidden in thought. Span of this vigil? Time's own shape? Ends. Promise. Clocksot reveals 7 breaths. Not 3 hours dreamed. Belly stirs low. Spine yields close. Essence mists away, yet afternoon clings unyielding. Toilon, breath shallow in venom's veil. Mercy's bell awaited faint. Veil lifts, not for hours manifold. Midway through this shadowed ebb, as spirit wanders full and sinew holds by will alone, horror stirs unveiled, none stirs at wounds. Claim, absolute stillness greets ill. Stations distant, hand meets belts, swift coil. Cry brief, motion blurred. Finger yields whole. Single span lost, scarce for pause, scarce for pity's word. Unscribed in ledger bare, save debt unpaid. Rag drawn, launder distant as wars. Old echo binds the void. Matter low, uncivil shadow, then labor assumes seamless. Shock holds you rooted. Hand-hold clutched close, whisper rising. Surely this bids halt. It does not. Victorian workers meet grievous wounds with 3 measured responses. A low grunt, a sharp word cast toward the iron. Then the shift resumes unbroken. Meanwhile, your earlier toes, faint bruise, stirred thoughts of retreat from toil's fold. Another catches Heron Gear's unyielding turn. The engine snarls soft. Her cry rises brief, foreman calls sharp, not from care's gentle hand, but sorrow for labor lost in the weave. They free the trest with steady cut, pass a cap to veil the head, and she returns to post as if tea alone spilled in quiet mishap. You witness this unfold like entry to a realm where flesh as quiet toll ranks mere delay in duty as rhythm. Burns claim frequency, greater still. Steam pipes, sigh like watchful sentinels roused, and in sudden release. They mark all near with heat's swift kiss, arms, cheeks, faint sparks of resolve. Response falls plain, oath murmured low, limbs shaken gentle, then back to feed the heart. Forepause invites the mechanism's shadowed reprisal. Now and then, one draws deeper into grasp severe. Line halts minutes few, not for succor skilled, absent here, but parting from the hold. In this hush, hands stretch weary frames, wipe dew from brow, or claim a morsel from midday's stone-bred kin. Nearest peace, this hall grants wary souls. Your keeper temper holds from faint vex to measured ennui. Wounds seen manifold dulled Aharz's response. Often he turns them to shadowed lesson. Thus fares the unfocused gaze. Resume. Truth settles cold upon you then. Harms here claim not mishap rare, but weave of trade itself. Workers forged endurance deep. You forge quiet alarm, and labor flows onward still. Span stretches as ages 14 deepen feel. Engines roar their ceaseless hymn. Form holds by sweat's faint bond, and mind's veiled hope. Spirit long wandered 2 fields serene in France's rural hush, yet miracle stirs. Bell tolls clear, fleeting grace descends, near kin to joy's soft light. Shrill its metal voice, yet 2 senses worn. It swells a symphony grand, 9th ode to weary dawn. Relief surged through frame entire. Fingers ease their clench, spine yields faint uncoil. Smile graces lips. First since youth's far shift closes. Endurance, held. Freedom calls. Or so illusioned whispers, as turn seeks door. Dreams of collapse, 2 straws embrace rising. Keeper's form veils the way. Eclipse born of era's weight. Throat clears, measured, harbinger of season dimmed. Over time, he speaks, no plea or barter's ground, but edict, firm as stone. Smile fades swift, crumbling as plastered from hall forsaken. Overtime yields no choice, no wages added grace. Cosmos murmurs alone, well endured, yet thoughts end, charmed fancy. In factories woven order, engines breathe, so must you. Yield sought greater, bounds fall fewer. Bell's latum of Chia turns jest, veiled practical. Return claims station with gate of ancient surf. 2 judgments, posts, every limb cries soft in protest. Knees falter trembling, wrists yield as wax warmed molten. Shoulders lost to annals grey. Victorian kin voiced grievance rare. Cost forbade it stern. You, however, bargain hushed with fate's vast. Survive this vigil, whisper rises, and grievance o'er fleeting signals fades forever. Bold vow, as breath's own worth wanes with air's shadowed toll. Over time unfolds endless, light beyond panes dims to eves close. Windows yield scant before, now veil complete. Inner measure breaks free, rhythm soul remains. Engine's perilous pulse, keepers call now and then through haze. At last, after spans unscribed in dreams accord, bell rings true. Celebration stirs none. Figures drift outward numb, sense fled entire. Toward threshold you move, thought single. Should this claim world's finest weave, sage of gardens old and factory kin required words measured deep. Shift yields at final, hours wearied enough to tire time's own stride. You stagger forth, ghost-like, felled by labour's weight, adrift in haunts unsure art. Outer air bids refresh, yet Victorian veil grants Cole's breath soft. Still, surceased from hall's grasp warms, legs turn to yielding form, not silk's smooth grace, but clot-thick and shadowed as festal yield children shunned in winter's hall. Each step sends trimmer up spine's length. Feet pulse within shoes, steeped to broth in sewer's gift. Street cloaks in dark, not nights alone, but industry's somber shroud. Fog gathers thick, bearing coals burn. Refuses rot. Coughs echo distant streets away. Breath draws deep from habit's hold. Regret follows, swift as lungs stir, revolt veiled. Homeward path claims no ease. Ira yields no ne simple. Cobbles gleam, treacherous, uneven, shifting subtle to claim the stride. Coat draws close round form, warmth scant, save heart's faint echo. Children tread beside. Shifts theirs close like yours. Tiny frames, bare tools, outweighing dreams, faint spark. 1 6 summers marked strides past assured. Vigor years outshone, shame stirring soft. Homeward bound to Keen's chores, after vigil 14 hours spanned. Vertical poise alone claims. You know, rats cross path bold, gaze met steady, judgment clear in whiskered eye. Shift theirs out-yielded yours in yield. Cleanliness shames your own. Rivers stained flow by. Fences bowed woods ruin. Dwellings throng close. Man now and then calls two stacks, silent form for cause private deep. Ache claims every reach. Arms as rope-soaked heavy. Throat sears faint. Elbows throb, unthought before. Midway visions rise not of sustenance, or rest's long dream, but seat alone. Stool plain, crate weathered, curb's edge, cabbage damp, in Eros hush. Any yield would serve. Yet stride endures. Halt courts chills embrace, that tempts to slumber, eternal spanned life through. Street reached at last, spirit claims ruin's ledger full. Decades mark the frame. Shadow tires, in train. Day one alone, this yields. Kin of time bore it, daily woven. Morrow bids, rise unwanted. Need compels, regardless. Threshold crossed final, to shelter scarce. Structure storing form, twixt shifts, unyielding call. Home names it. Genus, soundness structural. Hopes, faint kin. Livable breath, tail, woven faint. Entry meets scent woven rich. Damp weaves hold, suit chilled, cabbage boiled slow. Humans manifold in space scant shared. Violet sealed despair spith would name the note. Chamber claims scant span. Arms stretched claim kin unwitting near. Bed form straws mound, crunch veiled, as secrets held. Half yields flat from generations collapse, weary. Remainder lumps unsettling. Straw hoped, yet history's echo feared. Shared with souls manifold, kin blood, or a thread, wanderers claimed by chance. On space whispers suggestion faint, not truth firm. Foot square grants each. Luxury deemed by era's scale, beyond factories void entire. Words falter shared, not clamor's theft, but weariness hush o'er tongue's own craft. Instead, the chamber holds quiet groans, rising soft from weary frames, coughs that gather deep and release in measured waves, and the faint rustle of whiskered kin in shadowed corner. Tenants unyielding by sheer resolve to remain. You see cleansed basin shared, its water veiled in hues of labor's past, retired long from clarity's grace. Still, face meets splash, hopeful, seeking revival's gentle touch. Renewal stirs not, moisture clings alone, joined by quiet dismay. Supper claims what coin permits. Loaf plain, broth in to echo, or yield boiled endless till form forgets its birth. Use up by habit's rhythm, gaze adrift, in distances veiled, as one resetting spirit's quiet core. Night descends, chamber yields, to chill's slow eve. Blanket thin drapes close, insulation faint as napkin steeped in dew. One draws breath in rumble deep. Another coughs through shadowed hours. Mutter rises in dreams, hush of foreman's stern echo. Wonder stirs. How long flesh bears this cycle's unyielding turn before refusal claims the frame? There, upon the cracked vault above, thought drifts through weariness profound. Should this shelter home's true name? What visage bore the abyss of old? Here you rest upon straw's uneven mound, spine bargaining, soft terms of yield, lungs laden with grit enough to name new vein of earth. First day's vigil endured in Victorian hall. Endurance stretched 2 breaths, faint thread alone. Spirit wandered distant shores. Now heed the query gentle. Could form such as yours weather factory's shadowed call? Let measure unfold. Dawn broke 2 bells' insistent toll, resonant as personal grudge held deep. Streets wound through puddles veiled in peril's breath, each step courting unseen hazard. Engines tended from age when safeguard named sorceries. We've air-drawn held suits, dark, nourish, chimneys shadowed gift. Midday fare claimed amid watch against parts that turned meal to peril swift. Keeper born hubbies of gaze unyielding and spirit's quiet wound. Over time claimed unbidden, unpaid, unheld by minds frail bound. Homeward trek through lands where industry bent earth's own frame in strife. Rest in chamber, thronged as vessel of souls pressed close. Sardines in human tide. Morrow bids repeat the weave entire. Victorian kin forged not mere strength, but temper from sorrow's forge, and needs unyielding fire. Frames shaped to clamor's tide, grime's constant veil, hunger's patient gnaw, peril's near breath. Void of wages floor, rests spanned days, rites claimed basic to soul, thriving eluded grasp. Endurance alone marked the measure. True modern kin falter at signals faint delay, brew cool to tepid hush, powers thread below quarters mark. Picture Victorian ear, heeding modern plaint o'er, seats absent curve to spine, gaze shifts to form, then query polite upon support's own meaning. Truth settles plain, lungs yield by noon shadows fall. Hearing claimed by iron kin scarce hours spent, fingers draw engines longing deeper than your own. Mind's quiet health mists at 3's 17th breath. Will to press fades twixt overtime's decree and cough's third shadowed rise. Survival claims no day in such halls. No slight this bears, but witness 2 lives etched unimaginable. Endurance beyond modern dream. Choice graced them not. Yours holds firm, claimed in warmth's embrace upon device eased, seat likely graced with spine's true ward. Well met. Your now outshines their finest dawn. Before shadows gathered, before senate stirred in veiled dread, before Rome's marble heart quaked at drum's distant murmur through night, the Bacchanalia bloomed gentle as twilight's first breath. Whispered circles formed amid vineyards' hush, air woven with grapes' crushed sigh in soil's warm yield. These early rites, traced from Greek shores, slipping soft into Italy through Dionysus's veiled cult, reborn as Roman Bacchus's call, in those tender spans, souls gathered chiefly women. Wives bearing duty's weight, widows cloaked in quiet loss, daughters bound by hearth's unyielding thread, seeking what rigid Rome withheld, licensed to stir wildness deep within. Envision it slow, hillside veiled from city's stone gaze, lanterns glow faint in rocks carved hollows, laurel stirs in breeze's caress. Women's circle robed, not in formal weave's heavy fold, but garments loosened for motions. Grace, breaths free, draw, spirit's subtle flight, heart holds altar plane of timber, drappet, in ivious curl, grapes clustered hush, clay vessel brimming wines, first gentle pour of season new. Frenzy claims no place yet, no cry, ecstatic wild, no chorus, woven song rises soft, steps trace rhythm measured, vow shared to honor Bacchus through bounds, quiet crows, husband's decree, father's stern law, lawgiver's carved stone. For them, wine flowed, not mere vintage's warmth. Quid turned, untying knots social since cradle's hush. Bacchanalia granted reprieve's breath, rebirth's tender veil, union with God who named joy no vice, but heaven's woven need. Privacy cloaked them distant from urban spires, sanctity deepened thereby. Men barred in dawn's phasers, pure secrecy bore no shadow then, mere shield from world's unyielding watch. Yet Rome's hush ever birthed doubt's slow bloom. These veiled dances took root, answering call Rome scant-voiced, unbound longing. Step from duty's chain, discipline's marble grip, into realms softer, strange, ancient, beyond empires, columned span. Wine's flow drew song, too, deeper cadence, stirring union veiled with Bacchus's own breath. Not disorder's drunken tide, as Thales later wove, but liberator's whisper, reminder that beneath Rome's poised mask, every soul yearned wildwood's call. From this cradle hushed, force unstoppable stirred to life. Growth claimed the rites, magnetism deepened like vine's patient reach. Sanctuary for women, as grace widened to spark alive for any soul pressed by Rome's expectant weight upon the breath. Youths ventured curious to forbidden weave. Bound souls tasted equalities. Feigned echo, freed ones, spurned by highborn halls, nobles drawn by adventure's shadowed pull, all slipped to gatherings. Veiled twilight's quiet vigil swelled two nights vibrant, pulsing alive. Wine eased limbs hold, drums sundered restraints bind, every barrier Rome deemed wholly misted into haze. Grasped the draw. Rome not marbles gleam alone, but vessels sealed under pressure's rise. Public days claimed discipline's unyielding hand, kin's hearth, obedience's vow. Faith's form rigidity, carved deep. Bacchanalia sought surrender pure. Faithful held Bacchus spoke through rapture's veil. Trembled born when vintage met rhythm's tide. Attendees whispered God not knelt to in plea, but felt in marrow's hush. Entry crossed a realm divine near pressed, tasted upon tongue with every draught's slow warmth. Rites deepened measure. Torches borne to forests, clearing hush. Vines coiled trees, trunk-like serpent living. Breath drawn slow. Worship traced spirals unbound. Motion freed as night claimed depth. Some felt souls drift from flesh in flashes brief, joined to Bacchus in boundless span where mortal decree dissolved. Soft visions rose, vines bursting earthward, hoofed shades dancing near, God's form gliding torches glow and shadows veil. Woven through, peril's nectar, right granted rise beyond birth's chain. Bound forgot iron's bite, women shed duty's yoke, men released manhood's rigid call. Knights those held no mark by blood. Coins gleam, citizens grant, human alone in God's communion. Pleasures Rome feigned fear, celebrated true. Dissent stirred not all. Drums echoed past midnight's veil. Strangers murmured convulsed strange. Cries on whispers swirled. Armless, some shadowed. True, chill for elders old. Right offered freedom. Rome's grasp denied. Tasting drew return. Ceaseless. Ceremonies swelled past form. Flight, quiet revolt, unveiling portal to realm beyond Rome's sway. Thus marked for empire's shadowed hand. Two eyes unversed. Bacchanalia bloomed madness, pure, wild as night's own heart. But madness in these rites wove a tongue all its own. Deliberate unraveling, to draw souls deeper into Bacchus's veiled presence. Transformation stirred with masks, first claimed. Worshippers donned visages of satyrs, fauns, beasts, untamed. Human features stretched to echo beyond the mortal. Smiles wide as unbound joy. Eyes held in rapture's still gaze. Terracotta, painted o'er a wood, carved cloaked them gentle, shedding Rome's imposed form to step as wild kin, guided not by reason's steady hand, but instinct's ancient pull. Music led the quiet descent. Flutes wove through night, with melodies restless and deep. Drums pulsed as second heart's rhythm slow. Cymbals clashed in bursts unmeasured, waking senses from slumber's hold. No ordered Roman march claimed such cadence. Sound here dissolved the veil twixt self and spirit's breath. Participants whispered not mere hearing, but entry full into its embrace. Rhythm claimed thoughts, weave, birth and primal call that stirred the frame to sway. And sway they did. Spirals traced slow in earth. Leaps, soft as dreams, release. Tremors rising and falling in waves shared. Each form drawing fire from neighbors' quiet frenzy. Wine flowed boundless, yet sacrament true, not mere draught for thirst. Each cup marked passage near a union with Bacchus. Minds' knots eased that God might slip through shadowed seams. Romans held furor poeticus as heaven's breath possessed. In Bacchanalia, possession claimed heart's aim. Souls sought the breath when dance claimed them. Song flowed through unbidden. Fleeting spans, solitude fled the flesh. Ancient shared stirred within, passing soft as night wind. Beasts joined now and then. Goats crowned in ivy's hush. Small lives loosed a frenzy as emblems of Bacchus's wild realm. Torches flung shadows wild upon trees' bark. Forest turning stage where world's edge thinned a haze unreliable. Right this crest in, some felt claws brush. Faint hoofs stepped near. Vines tendrils soft against skin. Visions born of sense, overwhelmed or mind's quiet craft. Two guardians stern of Rome. Chaos pure, it seemed, within circles bound. Truth settled deep. Masks granted candor free of shadows. Toll. Music redrew self's quiet bounds. Wine parted gates, unseen. Convergence wove belief, not in derangement wild, but freedom's touch, steadfast. Rome yielded it not, nor claimed away. Such liberty chilled power's core. As Bacchanalia deepened reach, whispers swelled around their hidden heart. Rites named no longer worship veiled or spirit's gentle yield, but cauldron in Rome's shadowed dream of desires unbound. Truth holds. Line twixt raptures sacred and flesh's warm echo blurred in night's hush. No chance born this. Bacchus ruled dual realms. Birth and fade, joy's light, and mind's wild turn. Virtue's hold and surrenders. Called worship traced the shadowed span twixt holy and senses pull. Within worship's weave, forms moved unbound by decorum's Roman chain. Dancers drew near in breaths, soft mingle, hands grazing faint, limbs threading as one pulse shared through throng entire. In darkness intimate, shaped by vintage's warmth, cadence deep, faith in God's near breath, bounds of day dissolved. Rome cherished reigns, firm grasp, order's tiered hall. Bacchanalia sundered them. Quiet, bound soul laid hand upon noble's frame fearless. Woman cast silence, wedlock's veil, voice rising free in song or shout. Embrace claimed as will stirred. For those within, scandal fled, liberation breathed true. To watchers beyond, peril deeper loomed. Tales wove of frenzy unbound, souls lost so deep dawn alone recalled touch or kiss in night's fold. Some spoke heaps neath trees. Hushman and woman joined not lust alone, but heaven's passage shared through flesh. Truth, shadow cast, or decrees sharp weave. Knowledge evades time's gentle hold. Elite of Rome held faith firm. Right turned from cloister private to empire's shadowed foe. Realm wrought on disciplined stone grasped not. Ritual born of yield, order tiered bore no right. Where frenzy claimed all equal soft, fear of wild as breath held no feast. Where worship mirrored passion fierce neath foreign gods' quiet watch. Yet for faithful true, senses warm threads bore no shames, mark no vice's chain. Union te wobe twixt human earth. Divine breath. Bacchus sundered isolations, fused followers to form ecstatic one. In world carved sharp by blood's line, genders bound, duty's yoke, unity bloomed miracle soft. This, weave intimate, peril's quiet spark, drew senate's gaze, full and unyielding. Bacchanalia swelled beyond clearings, hush or vineyard's edge veiled. Some drew to earth's own secret folds. Gratos, cloaked in stone's embrace. Chambers forsaken, hollows carved slow in hillside's heart, where chant's echo clung to rock as presence living deep. Hidden realms, deepened airs, thick veil with incensus sigh. Torches flicker birthing shades immense, masks gazing from gloom, as spirits caught twixt worlds unseen. Secrecy claimed, not feature alone, but life's own pulse. Bore not guilt's shadow, but shield from Rome's unblinking watch. Gatherings unsupervised drew frown deep, more so where classes mingled equal in breath's hush. To guard the weave, Bacchus's kin vowed silence sworn. New souls pledged lips, sealed once, torch kindled flame. Breach cast exiles, chill, or heaven's hand unseen, some held Bacchus walked the right's own edge, presence felt in corners veil, loyalty woven through gaze on entry, wove a labyrinth hush, blindfold claimed the new, hands of faithful guiding steps first, through gloom, threshold crossed left Rome's rigid span behind slow. Cup offered, trust's pledge and vintage's warmth, touch followed, vines curl living, skin of beast wild, dagger's edge ceremonial, mask of wood, oiled sacred, facets each of Bacchus, life's breath, wild's call, changes tender weave, releases sigh, blindfold, potted last, unveiling circle masked in silence, deep, ready to fold the soul new to rapture's shared embrace. This web of hidden halls and oaths sworn wove peril Rome held deeper than indulgence as call. Oneness firm, band woven beyond states, quiet eye menaced, heedless of aim pure. Bacchic rites turned haven not for pleasure seekers alone, but souls adrift from Rome's stern hold, bound dreaming freedom's breath. Wives held in hearth's cold chain, outcasts seeking kin's warm fold. Chambers granted, veil unnamed, equality's soft touch, step beyond empire's grasp unyielding. Deeper secrecy bloomed, brighter aroma fled, whispers of plots veiled. Magic's shadowed craft, venom's quiet gift, schemes 'gainst throne wove wide. Proof fled grasp, slander claimed much. Sight outweighed truth's measure pale. Rome's gaze turned blades keen edge. By centuries second dawn BCE early, Bacchanalia outgrew tolerance's quiet fold. Talus reached senate, woven vast in shadow. Chaos named, seduction's lure. Nights frenzied long, throngs thousand strong in secrets keep. Realm chained to sway's firm hand chilled deepest at sight unchecked. Rome wrought as ever. Faced with order's quiet foe, dread bloomed full. Pivotal breath fell when soul once vowed turned fear or reaches fire to state's ear. Tale igniting wild as steps, own blaze. Bacchanalia claimed no right pure, but cradle treasons, seed, murders, hush, virtue's shadowed fall. Alliances forged in doors veiled close, kin turned 'gainst blood's own tie. Oaths, illicits, crimes cloaked in God's ecstatic breath. Whether his words sprang from heart's own shadow or ambition, veiled reach remains veiled in time. Gentle mist, clear stands the Senate's grasp upon them, fierce as dawn's first light upon a shadowed veil. Not vice alone stirred their hand, but power's unyielding throne. Bacchanalia wove a realm apart, where senators' sway faded soft. Women claimed voice unbound, bound souls walked equal with freeborn kin, forms moved heedless of Rome's tiered decree. Such breach chilled the highborn core deeper than tales of wine's wild nights. Cult sundering bounds, quiet weave menaced empire's stone-wrought frame. Thus Senate forged crisis moral vast. Pain in rites, as plagues slow creep through city's heart. Hysteria's tide eroding hearth, virtue's faint thread. State's own steadfast root. Words swelled dramatic as storms hush before the fall. Claims rose of sacrifice wrought in flesh's hush. Oaths coerced in circles veiled hold. Throngs lost to passion's endless weave. Testaments forged in shadows quill. Venom slipped 2 cups warm-brimmed. Livy letter etched the tale deeper still into depravity's shadowed lore. Propaganda's brush more than chronicle steady hand. Yet fierce soil yields propaganda's richest bloom. Parents barred young from night's soft call. Husbands turned gaze sharp upon wedded grace. Whispers of hidden steps in moon's pale veil. Markets and baths bore rumors woven, lurid, each thread darker than the last. Bacchus himself rose, whispered 'gainst Rome's spires, minds bent by vintage's sigh and frenzy's breath. For elders grave, dread proved tool keen. Sway tightened firm, virtue's banner raised high. Deeds stern justified in fear's quiet name. Rites shed faith's gentle cloak, claimed thread woven to Rome's marrow deep. Once named foe, empire's hand turned inexorable. In 186 BCE, dread hardened to steel's cold kiss. Senate decreed senatus consultum de Bacchanalia, sternest curb upon faith's wild bloom in annals long. Rites spanned outright save state's own measured grace, scarce granted as do in desert's hush. Overnight, festival born of joy's pure light, rapture's tender veil, God's union soft, turned crime by edict, carved in stone. Rome, absorber, vast of heaven's foreign, met one it cast aside unclaimed, purge unfolded, measured yet fierce as winter's tide. Magistrates swept through grotto's shadowed fold, vineyard's quiet edge, hearth's private sanctum whispered to hold altars veiled. Torches pierced gloom with light unsteady, unveiling chaos born. Masks rent from stone's embrace, vines torn from beams' high reach, drums crushed beneath soldiers' steady tread. Faithful gathered in pieces, hush seized in iron's cold bind, drawn to streets as empire's order reborn. Some pled soft through tears' faint veil, others held firm in right's last breath. Many lingered calm, uncanny, Bacchus's fading grace upon them still. Prayers murmured low as chains drew tight. Senate named it, cleansing, pure, virtue's soil renewed from taint's deep root. Too faithful true, persecution's blade fell swift and unyielding. Trials sped as shadows fleeing dawn. Symbolic oft in judgment's hall, thousands weighed in balance stern. Hosts met ends, quiet call. Some hanged from beams, unyielding hold. Others cast from cliff's high edge, forms displayed in squares cold light toward revival's whispered dream. Women, once Bacchus's tender heart, bore sent his harshest woven deep. State laid charge of lure to treason's path, hearth's quiet fall, disorder's root neath Rome's foundation vast. Frailty deemed their moral veil proved yoke oppression's ready claim. Yield came not from all. Defiance bloomed in gestures small yet steadfast. Masks veiled neath boards creaking hush. Cups ivy marked, laid earthward deep. Hymns etched to memory's silent fold that proof might fade entire. Some sought countryside's welcoming veil, rites whispered soft in God's protective shade. Others bore sacred forms to lands distant where Rome's gaze softened faint. Paucasdes endured Bacchic, breath alive though empire proclaimed it stilled. Senate's triumph rang hollow still, vexation woven through. Altars fell to dust, yet memory's flame burned unquenched. Flesh bore punishment keen, faith's quiet root untouched. For span brief, order's tale proclaimed, sway renewed, taint washed pure, perils shadow fled. Yet beneath triumph's measured veil, deeper tide stirred slow. Souls wounded mourning God, who granted freedom's breath. Rome claimed field marshal firm, yet spirit's quiet war but dawned its first soft light. In shadows deep, Bacchus lingered patient. Despite Rome's hand relentless to efface the Bacchanalia's woven thread, cult yielded not to void's embrace. Adaptation claimed its steady path. Curb's fierce weight honed, secrecy's art alone. Festivals vibrant once, torchlit and cadence-born. Softened too, whispers veiled, held by faithful scatter who clung unyielding to God's gift of unbound grace. Senate barred throng's call, sundered altars stone, felled leaders swift, yet longing's root eluded blade. Their Bacchus dwelled deepest in heart's unspoken ache. Survivors bore right as remnants, hushed to life as hidden folds. Vine's mark carved within ring, s golden hush. Ivy's scrap tucked to tunic's fold toast, murmured at dusk's. Gentle veil head bowed in prayer once cried. Neath moon's full gaze, women chiefly wove the flame through blood's own line. Daughters learned hymns, veiled as lullabies soft. Chambers closed, held rites private scaled. Single cups, vintage warmth. Grapes clustered hush, instead of feasts ecstatic vast. Music faded, frenzy's tide receded. Yet vows pure fire held firm, tempered not sundered. Beyond city's stone embrace, soil proved richer still. Countryside, where Rome's watch waned whisper faint and old gods, clung steadfast. Welcomed Bacchus, homeward merchants wandering bore tales of purge's shadowed hand. Forging God as outlaws' quiet kin, versed in sorrow's weave, defiance's breath, freedom's patient call. Bond deepened thereby, twixt divine and mortal soul. Bacchus swelled beyond wines. Gentle lord, emblem rebel's heart, refugus spirit woven for any bowed, 'neath Empire's stern tread, in Greece and Italy's southern vales, where Dionysus's ancient call predated Rome's marble rise, curbs echo faded soft, faithful local traced rites, with shift measured slight to shun. Official ire time-blended survivals, these with Bacchanalia's root tender, form emerged, restrained yet woven deep. Devotion favoring stages measured grace, processions solemn weave, rapture symbol soft o'er frenzy's wild claim, cult's essence breathed on, volume hushed to murmur low. Synod sought kneel, alone, endurance met their gaze, unyielding. Bacchus's life proved true throne, scant voiced. Souls crave realms where bound rigid line yields soft. Joy claims right, not boon bestowed. Divine draws, near as breath, intimate sheared. Centuries wove onward post the purge's shadowed fall. Rome shifted slow in form and sway, yet Bacchus held steadfast, not ever in wild sphere skies pure. Time-tempered edge, reshaped vessel, clad in rites new-veiled. Names reshaped gentle, expressions born of core endured, longing for freedom's breath. Rapture's tender fold, union with force, vast beyond mortal span. Bacchanalia's spirit, though decree forbade, seeped through civilization's seams as vintage claims, woods grain deep and slow. As empire swelled to horizons vast, traditions manifold found Rome's welcoming hold. Irony bloomed quiet. Rites Bacchic quelled evolved two festivals graced social veil. Liberalia's public bloom, theatre Dionysian-born held fragments rites, old heart alive. Masks once steeped in immersion's hush-trod stages wooden now, stirring primal tide 'neath art's measured cloak, not faith's wild call. Frenzy ecstatic softened to dance choreographed serene, song ritual pure, vine's poetic hymn, state-tame Bacchus firm, yet root unsevered deep. Even Christianity's dawn early bore echoes Dionysian veiled. Vintage held sacrament, sacred still. Communion's rite, draught a taste, heaven's near breath. Mirrored Bacchanalia's logic, spirit woven far beyond senator's shadowed dream. Divine entering flesh through ritual's cup claimed no birth. New, Bacchus's faithful wrought it, centuries spanned before. Church cast chaos Bacchic aside. Stern, yet heirloom deeper claimed. Faith that change of soul blooms intimate, felt in Maro's hush, embodied warm as breath itself. In medieval Europe's shadowed halls, Bacchus endured through canvas and verse, folklore's quiet weave. Painters summoned him as emblem of delight's warm breath. Revolt's steady fire, humanity's deep ache for unbound release. Scholars of Renaissance dawn, unearthing scrolls ancient and dust, reshaped him profound. No mere lord of vintage's wild pour, but force of creation's tender spark. Inspiration's hushed call, liberation's patient hand. Writers etched him as heaven's glow dissolving fear's cold grip, kindling passion's hidden flame, unveiling truths veiled by day's unyielding routine. Today, Bacchanalia's name whispers of revel unrestrained, yet beneath shadows caricature lies essence deep. Ancient faithful sought beyond wine's glow or frenzy's tide. Freedom's true breath, right to feel in Maro's hush, shatter imposed masks of self. Touch divine, unmediated by priest or throne. Rome stilled the drum's low thunder, sundered altars stone by stone, scattered souls two winds soft carry, yet longing's root, birthing the rites, held eternal. In that ache unspoken, Bacchus breathed still. To cross into ancient Greek symposium's veiled realm meant passing border unseen, parting ordinary earth's steady tread from ritual's curated hush of vintage. Wit's sharp gleam, chaos shaped with care. The andron itself, chamber most honored in hearth's hold, rose with threshold lifted gento, marking no mere gathering's casual fold. Threshold passed, citizen kin, guest faded soft, performance claimed you whole. Participant in Indian cultural weaving politics' subtle thread. Philosophy's deep current, reputation's fragile bloom. Space held intimate symmetry. Couches aligned wall to wall. Each man reclined toward heart's quiet center. Aesthetic graced, not alone. Ideology breathed through every line. No head claimed throne's high perch. No form loomed sovereign. Recline wove posture of yield relaxed. Vulnerability shared. Equal before cups warm promise. Equal in converse's flowing tide. Floor oft bore mosaics patient craft. Dolphins arcing graceful. Vines curling slow. Satyrs gazing from stones. Hush. Spirals geometric echoing wines. Swirl with water's calm embrace. Very adornment murmured Dionysus's near presence. God presiding soft o'er night's unfolding grace. Servant young, bound in service's quiet chain, glided midst the gathered, offering water clear for hands, gentle cleanse. Garlands to crown brows weary span. Ivy's green hush o'er roses petal soft claimed no vain display. Symbols they wove. Mind's softening veil. Emotion's tender bloom. Tension social eased like mist at dawn. Symposium sought no stiffness carved in marble's chill. Thoughts wandered free as night winds sigh. Minds unfolding petal by petal in air's nocturnal hush. At core stood crater vast. Mixing bowls, steady heart. Unmixed vintage claimed no lip civilized. Barbarism's market bore. Madness unchecked, or a wisdom's measured path. Wine and water mingled, measured proportion set by symposiarch, night's appointed guide. His choice shaped evening's soul. Blend faint for converse, thoughtful deep. Stronger tide for banter, light, or heart's unveiled murmur. Rolac in conductors, steady hand o'er symphony's breath. Yet orchestra wove words, cadence, glances subtle spark, debate's rising wave, laughter's warm echo, doors closed firm. Symposium turned stage where names forged enduring, bonds kinwoven strengthened, ideas birthed in night's glittering fold. Drinking's simple rite swelled to philosophy's river, politics shadowed current, poetry's lyric grace, braided seamless through evening's long, luminous veil. Should symposium claim world apart serene, craters, swirling depths pulsed as its living core. All flowed thence. Greeks held pure wine peril's draught, unraveling reason's fragile thread, stripping humanity's poised veil. Barbarians alone, quaffed unmixed, so tale unfolded. Sibylkin tempered theirs with waters come, ritual balance, blending delights, glow with rain's gentle hold. Mixings, quiet art, voiced creed profound. Scant vintage left mind, rigid as stone, unyielding. Excess dissolved to ruin's shadowed sea. Measure perfect birthed clarity's light. Inspirations, warm breath. Thoughts, elastic grace. Symposiarch weighed the blend with care. Hantle mix of chosi, 3 waters 2 wines, 1 measure. Nurturing nights of discourse, slower counsel veiled in statecraft's hush. Bolder eves demanded strength, 2 to 1 perhaps. Heightening heart's honest murmur, humus keen edge, rivalry kin friendly soft. Judgment, his shaped moods entire weave. Hand-heavy spiraled chamber to chaos. Veiled ways guide wove harmony's patient thread. Mix deep. Vintage journeyed from crater's hold to cup's embrace through dance, performed by attendants graceful. Ona chovessa, slender, in youth's steady hand. Poured 2 kileks silvered or terracotta warm. Cups, wide and shallow, calling wrists, deliberate tilt. Sip, mindful not heedless drift. Many kylix hid base s secret art. Scenes playful or sense s warm echo, unveiled as wine thinned low. Birthing laughter's ripple or words' thoughtful pause. Vessels themselves joined revel's quiet craft. Moderation claimed not flesh alone, but morals, steady vow, intellect's refined edge. Greeks held converse finest, bloomed when mine hovered sobriety's faint veil above. Loosened, tender, yet anchored firm. Ideas craved warmth's glow. Not wildfire's ravage. In balance delicate, poets breathed, verse keen as dawn's first light. Thinkers posed queries, weaving logic's line with metaphor's soft bloom. Kin shared secrets veiled, weighed virtue's scale. Riddles cast as challenge gentle, right blend parted minds' inner gates, sealed fast by day's unyielding sun. Mixing thus turned self-mastery's right. Serene, affirming symposium, no revel drunken wild, but pleasure's disciplined communion deep. Creed encoded Greek wisdom trivus, twixt extremes Sadoed pool, aridity and inebriation's tide, Silence's hush and song's full breath, rain's firm grasp, and release's tender sigh. Creta's currents, swirling held culture's metaphor pure, refined as marble's gleam, deliberate as artisan's patient hand, balanced ever sought in life's vast weave. Symposium dawned not with draft's first warmth, but placement, ritual, soft. Recline on cushions woven deep claimed no idleness vain. Posture equalized, opalus invited gentle. Left elbow borne, feet stretched, wallward calm. Guests formed ring loose around chamber's heart. Stance softened dazed rigid lines. Brick-woven stern, standing breathed command's unyielding voice. Seated turned labors, measured fold. Recline, whispered readiness. Thought free, feeling deep. Speech unbound, ear attuned. Formality's weight lifted from spine's weary curve. Evening unfolded not as tiered decree, but experience woven shared through night's slow veil. Settled thus, garland claimed each brow, blooms fresh or ivy's enduring green. Wreath nodded Dionysus's divine grace, patron wines, and muse's tender spark. Oils perfumed followed oft, myrrh's resin deep, cinnamon's spice warm, rose's petal sigh. Senses elevated long air cup met lip. Environment primed minds, quiet shift, air vintage stirred the blood. Converse warmed with words light as Zephyr's breath, teasing hentla twixt kin, tales of days small ventures shared, events pondered soft. Wine's slow seep deepened tide gradual. Symposium turned, intellect's theatre, veiled. Dialogue its performance central, serene, guest-wise bore wit's gleam. Narratives woven rich, queries probing deep. Engagement, open sands, hostilities chill. Barbs permitted, yet artful carved. Vulgar tongues scorn swift, evening balanced grace, twixt gravity's hush and mirth's bright spark. Reasoned steady line and passion's warm flow. Philosophy bloomed here beyond Greek life's measured halls. Politics shadowed weave, poetry's lyric breath, virtue's quiet scale, justice's even hand, beauty's fleeting grace, not too vast or fragile for air laced with vintage's sigh. Chamber swelled arena where thoughts clashed as harbor's waves, merging soft in union deep. Challenges rose, not dominance's claim, but mind's agile dance. Argument timed true inspired Edbawa's gentle nod. Clumsy word invited jest's light veil. Ridicule itself right woven, humor's gift, not cruelty's blade. Music wove words, flowing tide. Lyre passed hand to hand in circle's hush. Homer's verse hummed low. Improv's spark-birthed poem fresh from night's own breath. Veils twixt stage and dialogue softened gradual. Evening weaving less as measured talk than dance's flowing grace. Voices stepped rhythmic into kin's own cadence, reclining deep, words shared in hush, song rising soft, debate's gentle swell. Amusements, these claimed no lightness vain. Foundations they formed of Greek soul's quiet weave, teaching men thought's shared path, laughter's warm bond, world's vast span through imagination held in common. No gathering closed sans games, none cherished deeper or more whimsically than two eyes unversed, drunken drift, it seemed. Men casting wine's last drops roomward with flourish grand, yet to symposium's inner fold, Kotabos tested poise precise, grace unyielding, charms, subtle art. Final dregs turned, weapon of contest light, leisure shaped to craft refined, thus rite unfolded slow. Cup near drained, guests swirled remnants, baseward deep, reclined sideways upon cushions hold, wrist arced smooth as rivers bend. Drops flew, toward mark, bronze disc, balanced poles. High crown basin tuned to ring as bell struck true. Force brute claimed no prize, elegance alone prevailed. Control woven with timing's patient breath, more so half reclined vintages. Haze upon the frame, strike trucent, disc, clattering earthward soft. Cheers rippling warm or groans kindulous low. Kotabos rose beyond mere play. Flirtation's ritual veiled, theatre born of heart's quiet pull. Each cast named beloved true, lover's steady grace, heart shy, stir, conquest hoped in night's hush. Loud acclaim or humour soft it fell. Yet mark met true, spelled omen kind for romance's tender weave. Symposium turned stage, small where longing voiced safe beneath contests, playful guise. Gods a chance and vintage judged fate's measure gentle. Laughter swelled as techniques bloomed grand. Divine spark claimed o'er Dionysus, blamed in Fulter's wake. Wagers laid light, boasts earned through night's slow turn. Some raised right near athletic vow. Sober casts honed homeward for evening's measured grace. Others wove comic veil. Failure overplayed for mirth's shared delight. Tension broke, rivalry kindled soft, converse sparked anew. Symposium's true craft, this mirrored serene. Even fallen gained, gaze drawn warm. Culture prizing wit, keen gleam, or a sinew might held excuse. Clever or fall dramatic, more vivid than cast flawless pure. Personality claimed, prized twin to skills arc. Kotabo's forged chamber arena of contest joyful. Guests bound through mischief's hush, absurdity shared in drops wine flung to impress Kien. Should vintage fuel the symposium's steady flame, music and verse breathed its soul profound. Converse warmed chamber's air. Laughter eased to breath free. Lyre claimed hand inevitable soft. Strings pluck, gentle signals shift from debate's measured tide. Game's light whirl to reflection's quiet veil. Performance born in night's own hush. Music stood no murmur faint. Essence it wove, turning men common to dreamers deep. Thinkers veiled, tellers of tale ancient, gathering sans lyre's grace mirrored watered draught wineless. Form held, spirit void as dawn unrisen. Lyre passed circles slow, each guest lending tone unique. Woven melodies simple some breathed, others unveiled skill, shadowed from day-astern gaze. Greeks held music soul's shaper true, emotion tuned as vintage mind's own balance. Lilt soothing, stilled quarrel's heat. Rhythm lively woke energy's dormant spark. Melody mournful parted gates, to truth personal deep. Confessions river flowing free. Music steered night's emotional current, measured as symposiarch vintage's flow. Verse claimed equal heart's core. Homer's lines or Hesiod's ancient breath recited slow. Heroes' ideals recalled. Legends earth's deep root. Others offered sophistry's gleam, playful. Verse crafted amuse or thought provoke gentle. Improv wove fresh and tire. Tales birthed beneath peers' steady gaze. Creation tested in vintage's warm hold. Skill this earned awe profound. Man wedding draught. Thought keen. Verse fluid claimed. Muse's gift divine. Wine and harmonies, spark kindled true. Yet verse bound more than mirth alone. Recital cold response woven. Critique thoughtful. Laughter's ripple, acclaim warm. Counterverse, rising soft. Ideas pass torch-like hand to hand in reless hush. Themes bloomed natural. Love's tender ache, valor's steadfast call. Death's shadowed veil, beauty's fleeting breath. Betrayal's sting quiet, virtue's even scale. Guests traced them, sincere yet laced with mirth. Gravity's hush yielding, seamless two plays light grace. Duality this echoed. Greek world's quiet creed. Life tragic, yet comic twined. Noble ridiculous, entwined as one. Symposium mirrored balance, flawless serene. Performances turned intimate, now and then. Verse 2 lover near recited veiled in metaphor's soft cloak. Lament of for kin lost offered low. Moments these deepened evenings, banter light, game's joyful whirl. Recalling wine served memories hush and sorrow's gentle fold. Music verse lifted symposium from revel's simple tide to landscape emotional shared. Inspiration's spark ever near, every soul shaping night's unfolding tales slow. Night deepened measure. Vintage settled midway twixt clarity's light and haze's tender veil. Symposium claimed role famed deepest, forge of ideas, quiet birth. Our this honed converse, keen, laughter thinned to silence thoughtful deep air, weighted with queries vast sans answer plain. Politics, philosophy stood, no tomes dry. Creatures live in, they breathed, wrestled gentle, teased with care. Provoked two secrets, unveil slow. Politics entered casual oft. Remark light upon magistrate's stern hand. Whisper campaign martial veiled. Sly word 'gainst rival cities measured sway. Gusp swelled two worlds' broad tide. Athens' democracy woven free. Sparta's discipline unyielding. Persia's reach ambitious. Corinth's trade patient. Topics swirled. Converses current deep. Policies weighed balanced. Leaders judged fair. Choices critiqued bold as vintage alone inspired. Classroom political sands. Perils shadow. Ideas tested free from Bacchanalia chill public. Philosophy swept then as breeze chill from Olympus heights serene. Query rose, not simple fare, but press against understandings bound mortal. Virtue's true form, courage actions, deed or heart's intent pure. Soul's existence claimed, dwelling place, if wrought. Life, worth measure, what holds? Guests leaned inward, hush, eyes alight. Curiosity's glow. Symposium birthed paths, thought manifold. Playful sum, profound, veiled, echoes destined through annals long. While this cradled Socrates reclined cushion deep, companions challenged logic's relentless weave. Plato later staged dialogues full in such halls, imagined soft thought turned theater pure. Every man actor graced, arguments scene measured, insight twist plots cunning hush, disagreement flared fierce yet malice free. Rebuttal keen drew acclaims, ripple warm, flaw invited tease light, truths seek right, shared, solitary pursuit, not lone. Beauty lay in freedom's breath profound, schools rigid unborn, texts unscribed, trials formal veiled, thought bloomed natural slow, shaped by vintage's warmth, friendship's steady bond, curiosity's fire patient burning. Andron's swelled universe miniature serene, city's law eased gentle, reasons we've drawn, taught refined, voices softened low, lids weighed heavy dusk, men departed changed deep, not mirth alone, ease granted mere, but stretched as bowstring taught, widened mind by ideas torchlit. Silver cups gleam shared, wisdom grease-born claimed no temple, stone, or court's decree stern. Chambers these birthed it hushed and true, though symposia graced elite men's fold official, truth wove nuanced rich, interest deeper still, into wine's warm realm, verses lyric breath, thoughts combat veiled, stepped women unbound by hearth's domestic chain. Intellect graced them keen, wits sharp gleam, art skill patient, wrought, hetairai, these courtesans of symposiums. Heart serene, wives confined to quarters private stood worlds apart from grace, such free and measured, educated deep in lore's quiet folds, charismatic as dawn's first light upon marble serene. Often sharper in converses keen weave than men reclined beside in vintage's hush. Presence, there's shifted symposiums, subtle, alchemy, entire, layering intrigues, veiled current, inspirations, warm breath, tensions, patient pull through nights, slow unfolding. Hetairai read verse with grace unyielding. Lyre's strings awakened soft beneath her touch. Arguments challenged, bold to still even thinkers seasoned in debates, measured tide. Unlike women bound to hearth's domestic veil, she glided free through intellect's mail-woven halls, navigating discourse complex with poise strategic, breath-drawn calm. Men summoned Hetairai, not beauty's gleam alone, though form graced them fair, but spark, enlivening chambers measured air. Monotony of debate, omel sundered they soft, unpredictable mirth, kindled anew, thoughts, fresh paths, ignited in night's glittering hush, remark keen from courtesan clever deflated prides, swelling tide or turned, stalled converse flowing swift, wine's measure scarce matched such art, power social wove through them too. Hetairai famed bore ties across city's stone, embrace hearths veiled, factions political stern, favor hers or critique measured swayed reputation, subtler than assembly's thundering call. Confidants to generals shadowed, lovers, philosophers deep, muses poets, whose lines outlasted city-state's own fading span. Role claimed, no ornament vain. Transformative breath it held, shaping evening's emotional current, intellect's refined edge, as surely as craters blend, or games chosen measured. Beyond courtesans' grace, performers wove essential thread. Dancers fluid as rivers bend, flutes melody soft, acrobats defying earth's steady pull. Spectacle birthed blurring rituals, hush with theater's living veil. Skills theirs deepened airs, thick weave, contrast gentle too. While soul's immortality sparred in words' keen clash, dancers' form recalled bodies, truth profound, motion pure as ancient coal. Hitaraz, Nirnis forged, space where longings, warm tide, mind's agile spark, performance social, intertwined seamless. Passive stood they not, but souls versed in symposium's depths, hidden ideas, egos, emotions, blending current, shifting ever. Laughter there's lifted chambers, vault serene, silence honed. Edge keen, alchemy this presence wove turn gathering beyond the salon philosophical mere, ecosystem living where gender's quiet weave, intellect's fire, desire's tender pull collided soft, alliances reshaped in night's hush, art inspired deep, ambition's course altered, measured slow. Beneath laughter's ripple warm, debates rising swell, game's joyful whirl, seduction's veiled glance. Symposium breathed ritual space still, Dionysus presiding calm, aura-shadowed fold. Greeks held drinking no trifle light, sacred rite, it claimed. Vintage gift from God, blurring joy's bright line with madness sat a wed edge, order's firm grasp, and chaos wild breath, mortal veil, and divine Nirnis pure. Thus every evening dawned libation's gesture soft, wine poured earthward, lower bowls, appointed hush, reminder woven that night. Human erots stood not alone. Dionysus watched patient. Dionysus hearkened deep. Dionysus weighed the soul. Serene, right-framed gatherings, heart entire. Guests bidden drink with purpose measured, not indulgence's reckless tide. Vintage parting minds veiled gates, not overwhelming flesh's frail bound. Greeks held Dionysus granted inspirations spark divine. Touching verses lyric grace. Philosophy's profound current. Strategy political veiled. Draft X's lost heaven's glow. Foolishness claimed the frame. Wisdom's measure courted ecstasies lured through temperance paradoxical serene. Symbols Dionysus graced Androm's walls. Ivy crowning brows gathered. Calyx painted with satyrs forest-bound in tumble wild. Mosaics vine-curled floorward slow. Adornments random stood not. Reminders they breathed. Every soul walked tightrope fine twixt order, steady line, and excess shadowed pull. Symposium wove descent controlled a Dionysian energy's warm flow. Bacchic Rita's wild heart refined to ritual intellects, for elite measured. Sequenced evenings followed patterns sacred hush. Libation poured, wine mingled deep, converse warmed gradual. Music's lyre soft, games like contest. Dialogue deepened as night claimed throne. Stages each mirrored consciousness shifting veil. Dionysus ruled serene. God invoked, not shriek ecstatic wild, but laughter's shared ripple. Performance graceful. Vulnerabilities tender yield. Truths unveiled philosophic keen. Emotional deep. Political shadowed when masks loosened slow. Restraint thinned to breath free. Atmosphere ideal right forged for revelation's quiet bloom. Themes sacred entered discourse direct now and then. Myths retold. Measured, dissected calm, challenged bold. Dionysus twice born truly. Madness punishment stern or liberation's gift pure. Vintage freed minds, hidden grace, or bared weakness frail. Queries mingled incenses, smoke drifting soft through chambers hush. Nature divine weighed in guests steady gaze. Balance claimed symposium's essence profound. Chaos linked to God embraced firm. Structure demanded unyielding. Ecstasy invited warm. Intellect insisted keen. Madness flirted gentle. Surrender shunned serene. Dance delicate. This honored Dionysus sands devouring. Dawn crept horizon's edge slow. Final Calyx drained to hush. Symposium closed, not abrupt. Transformation claimed its steady path. Echoes from Andron's wine-stained floors reached far beyond marble's measured span. Philosophies, dialogues deep, politics, discourse bold, education's patient weave, art's enduring gleam, Modern gatherings, shared cup-o'er ideas, quiet birth, legacy stretched centuries woven. Intellect's community shaped eternal. Philosophy, Greek, clearest bore. Fingerprint symposium's grace. Dialogue's Western thought's foundation. Plato preserves serene. Staged symposia oft in chambers intimate fold. Posture eased. Vintages. Openness warm. Humor's interplay with logic keen birthed bold ideas surfaced. Soft. Love's nature profound. Soul's woven form. Virtue's pursuit measured. Temples solemn claimed them not. Reclined kin birthed them. Cups held firm, laughter swirling, profound queries tied. Thought deep thrives, social spaces shared. Solitude's veil, not lone. Symposium culture whispered true. Politics discourse shaped, enduring to citizens honed arguments. Art, persuasions measured grace. Critiques even hand air assemblies public call. Freedom mind's voice central to democracy's breath. Rehearsed private, hush, air public bloom. Rhetorical skill tested calm. Norms challenged soft. Civic grasp, sharpened keen. Listening taught twin two speeches flow. Vital as Athens' ancient span. Artistic yield rich, equal bloomed. Vasa symposium scenes etched iconic. Pottery Greeks enduring gleam. Figures reclined, elegant. Satyrs, mischievous. Revel drunken. Captured true. Images yielded historians insight deep. Garb woven fine. Furnishings graced. Tresses styled measured. Conduct social veiled. Music, verse symposia born, influenced genres long outlasting city-states, fall shadowed. Philosopher's image cup held, thoughtful calm, mirth veiled slight, archetype endures serene. Modern cultures weave, dining shared warm, drafts mingled deep. Debates fire, kindled soft, practices university halls, salons intimate, circles literary hushed. Gatherings political measured trace, direct dissent symposiums fold. Meal shared forges, converses honest pure. Thought creative bloomed ancient Greek wisdom, embedded life's daily hush. Tables, circle. Cafes, quiet nook. Bars shadowed grace, recreate, essence symposium's heart. Moderation twined indulgence's glow. Intellect laced laughter's breath. Friendship inquiries tender spark. Greeks held vintage truth's revealer pure. Companionship to truth craved to flourish serene. Symposium honored both rites woven. Converses flowing tide. Performance graceful. Philosophy's playful weave. Foundation. Intellect's life built enduring. Shaping thought's path. Meetings measured grace. Ideas shared today. Wine dried long. Lyre strings silent hushed. Symposium breathes each mind's open o'er cups. Shared warmth. Apollodorus drew breath. Damascus gates, when city crossroads mere stood not, but forge ideas unyielding fire. Traders Persian east pass thresholds, stone bearing not silk's gleam. Spices warm sigh alone. But knowledge vast, irrigation's patient craft, stones cut refined centuries deep, principles mathematical honed slow. Greek kin brought architecture's tongue serene, proportions, even grace. Symmetry's poised veil, Crete beauty wed geometries, line inseparable pure. Rome loomed sovereign, above influences twined, reaching ever outward with hunger unquenched for talent found in shadowed corners distant. Damascus blended not mere echoes of worlds vast, but forged essence, singular, serene, crucible where East's patient craft met West's poised grace. Such realm cradled Apollodorus from cradle's hush, eyes opening to stone's enduring whisper. Youth surrounded him with masonry's quiet rhythm. Damascus wrought with assurance deep. Arches bold spanning voids unyielding. Aqueducts channeling waters faithful flow. Temples wedding craft, local honed with inspiration foreign veiled. Young Apollodorus gazed upon masons, as seers upon twilight's fading glow. He traced waters patient, carved through channels, wrought by hand, precise. Persian vaults, lifting spans higher on slender frame. Materials spared, yet strength, unbowed. Architecture claimed no labor mere for him. Performance it breathed. Calculation steady weave. Tale told in silent stone. Teachers first stood, not sages in halls formal fold, but builders callous to deep. Hand-shaped earth's raw yield to form enduring. Lessons wove how measures single flaw, doomed edifice entire, arch well-born lifting burdens beyond legion's stern array. Greek scrolls deepened the lore. Mechanics measured art. Geometry's pure line. Temple proportions sacred held. Damascus granted knowledge is boundless, tied from every horizon's call, absorbed as parched stone, drinks, rain's first gentle fall. Adolescence birth gift rarest in architect's quiet craft. Vision threefold, realms imagined whole before line met parchment. Sketches claimed not his hand alone. Mine walked halls unborn. Lights dawn glow tracing vaulted hush. Festival throngs flowing seamless. Waters murmur rushing hidden veins of stone. Mentors beheld no pupil longer. Prodigy rose before their steady gaze. Where others served cities, Miasura neath Apollodorus dreamed the empire's vast. Rome called, appetite ceaseless for monuments towering, roads unbreaking, bridges spanning chasms deep, forums echoing eternity's breath, Syrian Greek roots, Persian legacy woven beneath, destined to reshape capital's marble heart, unknown to him yet. Westward journey led to Rome, not city mere, but forged civilization's endless fire. Flavian's closed, Colosseum's vast embrace. Forum labored, perpetual emperors vying to eclipse kin before, with spans grander. Heights unscaled, feats demanding craft beyond known bound. Marble fed them all. Insatiable, stone swallowed whole. Architects spent swifter than granaries yield in famine's hush. Perfect crucible for mine like his to kindle flame unquenched. Yet Rome scorned outsiders, gleam oft, Syrian Greek craft bowed expected, not blazed trails uncharted. Apollodorus yielded not to shadow's veil. Capital entered with a sure and born a vision clear. Designs unseen in forums, stone-clad halls. Persian-ear Eastern arts revived. Mathematics, bold stretching Roman limits edge. Draftsman more Rome craved not. Visionary alone served, role claimed seamless as dawn's rise. Dawn marked not monuments vast, practical yield first. Bridges honed enduring, forts martial swift in raise, siege engines mechanics refined keen. Trajan, commander, ascending slow, marked him swift. Solutions wrought not theory's dream. Fields proved them true. Hesitation met calculation calm. Proposal turned deed, wrought firm. Traditions bound accepted by others. He delved Persian Hellenistic lore, ancient techniques, Rome pondered, never. Alliance bloomed, Trajan soldier stern, Apollodorus architect, profound, potent weave in annals Roman deep. Talent prized o'er bloods, proud lined by Emperor to be. Ambition grasped by builder's steady hand. Empire reshaped, not in marble's gleam alone, but frontiers dust veiled, roads carving wilds untamed, bridges claiming rivers, wrath, wars, iron kin granting legions, stride unyielding. Success lifted him, Trajan's circle higher still. Throne claimed, 98 CE. Apollodorus stood, no craftsman gifted mere. Chief engineer graced emperor's trust, advisor veiled in council close. Hand-turning dream imperial, two stones eternal voice. Rome, talent sea overflowing, beheld not a rival simple. Conquest wrought serene, Trajan's reign birthed, not ruler alone. Builder rose with him, Apollodorus' heart's steady pulse. Monuments craved spoke power's unbowed line. Efficiencies measured grace, legitimacy's marble crown. Projects sought stretched engineering's farthest reach. Ambitions met flawless, tide and vision won. Infrastructure claimed first grand right. Roads unbreaking span, harbors welcoming fleets, vast, bridges, paramount o'er, chasm and flood, legions craved motion swift. Mastery granted stunned commanders. Veteran-worn crossings simple stood not. Weapons strategic breathed timber's strength, stone's patient hold, mathematics cunning weave. Danube's bridge crowned them all. Bold as fate's decree, monumental unyielding, barrier natural audacious shield, long erased. Records haste raised it, piers stone must defying currents roar. River claimed from map's own fold, Trajan saw conquest's path. Apollodorus immortality's quiet seal, military craft deepened. Siege engines honed true in flight and reach. Forts reimagined stern against foes' assault. Artillery refined, granting legions grasp o'er cities barred. Designs theoretical fled, tools brutal, practical. Geometries, line and physics law, wed, Persian Hellenistic roots, older than Rome's founding stone. Trajan beheld Apollodorus form-giver, to creed imperial pure, victory scene must stand. Felt in marrow deep, architecture propaganda breathed. Legacy carved skylines, endless hush. Synergy, there's expansion martial. Genius wrought in stone outshone Augustus Agrippa's ancient bond. Infrastructure birthed conquests, vain, tools forged wars, relentless tide. Space is monumental, defining Rome's soul eternal. Practical brilliance sated not, vision vast simmered neath each measure keen, monument rewriting empire's tongue, architectural serene. Triumph, Dacia's fall granted chance, measured what rose next, stilled Rome's breath in awe profound. Rome world's heart claimed Trajan's forum, its pulse serene, commissioned bad. Not plaza simple, imperial space redefined entire, masterpiece bloomed, scale defying bound, coherence breathtaking calm, intelligence wrought modern eyes, still trace in wonder hushed. Trajan's blade felled Dacia keen, Apollodorus raised victory in stone's geometry. Vision lifting city age newborn, sight cramped ridge bound, earth uneven stern, architects bent design to yield. Hill fell to Apollodorus' will alone. Myriad workers, tens, thousands strong carved earth and rocks, million cubic yield. Feet rivaling wonders ancient veiled, cleared plain birthed, true right. Courtyard vast colonnades graced, basilica grander than kin before. Libraries wisdom's twin guardians, statues breathing emperor's grace. Arches triumphant, Trajan's column flaming marble, at core's hushed heart. Proportions deliberate wove each line. Romans flow through space known deep. Crowds seamless, processions ceremonial grand sans chaos. Veiled, forum choreographed serene, not tumult wild. Structures echoed kin across the span. Libraries column-flanked wisdom's throne imperial. Basilica Ulpia. Administrative pulse empires. Greek harmony wed, Roman laws, unyielding voice. Trajan's equestrian colossus gleamed gilded bronze, high positioned sentinel at entry's veiled threshold. First sight for wanderer, drawn near, power's radiant core and order's steadfast breath emanated from emperor's poised form alone. Then rose Trajan's column, spiral frieze weaving Dacian war's tale with manuscripts' patient precision. Legionaries spanned bridges wrought firm. Engineers raised forts unyielding. Generals addressed ranks in hush profound. All etched Apollodorus's grasp, intimate of battle's weave and supplies' measured flow. Scholars hold he guided narrative's hand. First-hand campaigns shaping Rome's memory, visual serene. Forum's true wonder bloomed in traditions fused, seamless. Persian craft's bold span. Greek symmetries poised grace Roman monuments. Towering hush woven one tongue architectural pure. Cultures copied, not by his steady vision, synthesized, there rose. Each thread lifted greater still. Forum claimed city within city's heart. Argument, stone-wrought for Rome's dominion universal calm. In its raising, Apollodorus touched influences zenith hushed. Yet Rome's heights ever bore perils, shadow deep. Should Trajan's forum voice, imperial splendor vast, Marcus his genius whispered, serene, join forum's living pulse. Sprawled quirinals, slope in tiers brick-vowed, arches spanning soft, vaulted halls echoing trade's quiet rhythm. No mere bazaar, simple this, multifunctional yield world's first, commerce's flow and governance. When design advanced, concept modern veiled, familiar as today's own span. Challenge loomed immense, hillsides steep and uneven tamed to harmony's measured fold. Terrain fought by lesser hands, embraced by his, carved deep two walls retaining vast, platforms staggered graceful turning obstacle earths to opportunity. Land's contour resisted not, sculpted cascading levels, maximizing space's patient yield, stability structural held firm. Principle this engineering's need with form's elegant breath traced near eastern lore, Damascus woven deep. Lower tiers hummed life's steady cadence. Victual stalls, vintage merchants, spices, warm sigh, cloth weavers, booths, small from lamps' faint glow, to scrolls' ancient hush. arrayed broad via biberotica, snaking spine-like through complex's heart, shaded hintly air breathed free, wrought transport goods and whisper swift alike. Flow grasped Apollodorus. Souls tide, trades current. Roman days, unyielding weave. Designed thus, serene, above shops, rows, chambers office bound, stores veiled deep, halls, administrative calm. Bureaucrats, Roman labored space's modern twin. Light poured generous, breath circulated pure. Order logical held, terraces upper granted vistas panoramic o'er forum newborn. Merchants and scribes gazing Trajans, jewel architectural serene. Markets breathed not commerce alone, political vein, social pulse. Symbol woven deep, function sated, not as craft. Beauty infused curve, and corridor alike. Brick-laid mathematics line precise. Arches caught sun's dramatic hush. At our appointed soft. Halls semicircle wrought acoustics, ideal for proclamations, steady call. Details smallest voiced creed profound. Engineering aesthetics twin faces, coins enduring gleam. Rome beheld unseen before wanderers traced halls availed. Not purchases lure alone, but edifice living testament order imperial, prosperity's marble crown. Shopping, mundane, elevated, civic right serene. Markets sealed fame. Empire's innovator, unbound. Admiration universal, stood not. Envy's city genius drew gaze. Perilous calm, air skyline carved his genius deep, war's own sinew bore his patient hand. Trajans, Dacian tides, one not blade alone, terrain mastered, supply unbowed, engineering rendering earth's barrier void serene. Apollodorus stood shadows hot, geometry wielded sword-like keen. Danube long mowed Veldesha's shield. Commanders Roman seasonal bane named it pontoons fleeting mercy currents wrath. Apollodorus beheld equation solvable calm. Solution feigned bridge. Danube vast pier stone colossal riverbed deep. Anchored kilometer. Spanned o'er torrents roar. Crossing mere not, Rome's decree nature bowed. Imperial will serene, right rays synchronized grace. Divers sealed caissons would submerged hush. Masons shaped blocks, tolerance wondrous held. Timberkin superstructure, locked against ice and flood, orchestrated all. Roman yield with Persian Hellenistic hydraulics ancient wed. Complete. Legions strode streamward light, as brooks faint step. Dacia's ward, greatest felled. Bridge wars, genius, one thread alone. Rams battering redesigned. Towers siege reimagined. Ballistic tension true. Trajectory honed. Stability unyielding. Testudo shield curve, calculated ideal. Artillery refined flight farther, strike deeper stern. Legions transformed machine precise. Siege craft as touch patient bore. Hilltops, Dishon fortified. Slopes, sheer Foylian craft common. Terracine, roads counterslope climbing gradients deemed void. Cliffs beheld he leveraged pure. Hesitation met solution etched earth's husk. Trajan trusted absolute. Council sought planning's veiled fold, not war's devotee the builder, but landscapes form. Cities weave. Empires, quiet span, grasped deep. Battlefield broken design, awaited reconfiguration, serene. Dacius fall fain, eternal Trajan wove. Apollodorus gained reputation brilliance veiled, soon emperor's ego shadowed chill. Career zenith Trajan's reign graced. Serene, Rome's empire, one man's ascent. Another's peril wove, Trajan felled 117 CE. Architect expanse of power shaper served Hadrian unbidden. Transition seemed seamless hush, Hadrian architecture. Cherished, Greek lore embraced. Trajan's monument yield, pursued. Partnership natural deemed. Hadrian Trajan mirrored not. Soldier stern stood not. Esti intellectual sensitive deep, insecurity woven core. Trajan prized brilliance pure, Hadrian overshadowed, chilled, emperor architect fancied self. Mastery technical Apollodorus, effortless held, Syrian Greek sulfened, critique. Not emperor corrected open hush, sketches early dismissed amateur's hand. Truth keen yet courtly doom, till later held Hadrian temple design proud unveiled. Apollodorus voiced blunt, serene. Depart, pumpkin's sketch, this craft eludes thee. Literal or shadow cast, moral clear. Man unyielding shamed, who shame bore ill. Pantheons rebuild, beloved critiqued, first rift bore. Hadrian oversaw, flaws structural Apollodorus, named corrections missed. Emperor seethed hush, advisors urged tone softened. Courtier he stood not, builder truth stone's own breath, voiced stern. Tension political erupted silent swift, dismissed projects, imperialo, heart architectural barred, armies workers once commanded unwelcome capital, reinvented own hand, exiled not treason's chain, corruption's veil. Brilliance insubordinate deemed serene. Exiled dawn alone. Resentment Hadrian's paranoia deepened slow. Talent, sway, unyielding nature peril lived vast. Empire monuments wrought, witness downfall's hush. Favor lost, worlds grumble swit. Designs Rome reshaped, uprooted sudden. Protection, imperial stripped. Circles sway once ruled cast distant. Exile architects severe dance from stone's identity pure. Trajan's monuments mind-born wandered obscurity enforced. Genius liability greatest known deep. Motives Hadrian's veiled official hush. Justifications political feint. Station overstepped. Boldness voiced free. Critique unbound. Court intimate truth grasped serene. Rival born, not Hadrian. Trajan's era symbol stood Apollodorus. Vision different reminder empire's span. Hadrian intellect equal craved. Expertise highlighting limit own. Intolerable chilled. Exile sketched ideas. Unborn hush. Harbors. Arches. Engines martial. Hydraulics. Timachat veiled. Notebooks lost whispered designs emperor spurned. Workshops shunned. Serene. Genius barred political iron. Self beheld alone. End hushed. Imperial will deliberate. Sources ancient execution ordered charge woven faint. Method veiled times missed. Motive clear, unyielding. Erased not, Rome removed mere. Memory sundered pure. Philosopher architect styled. Superior minds. Breath humiliation, constant wove. Greatest Trajan's builder felled monuments distant own. Inscription none marked rest. Column honorless rose. Not Rome new carved silence, granted soul serene. Death defied erasure still. Edifices immense, unmovable, undeniable, stood markets, forum, column, bridges, witnesses stone, serene, memory imperial insecurity, spurned not. Exile, silence, death, Hadrian, wrought, unbilled genius world's gift eluded grasp, honors none, funeral public shunned, due recognition veiled, history's poetry triumphal inscription, outshone, empire silencing preserved, soul tongue cared, architecture, serene, name statues records erased, structures mind-born endured skylines, hush, time defied, Syrian Greek fingerprints Roman world, deeper than emperor's reach revealed. Trajan's forum antiquities feet unmatched, lingers serene, scale unrivaled, planning flawless pure. Basilica Olpia, civic yield, millennia shaped. Column spirals balanced marble hush, reliefs military tail twin technology Roman unveiled, markets Trajan prototype urban modern breathe. Multifunctional, linked seamless, crowds commerce flowing measured, principles contemporary craft, still draws serene, influence continents, centuries crossed hush. Byzantine vaults adopted deep. Islamic domes flow spatial near eastern homeland echoed neighbor. Renaissance proportions clarity borrowed keen. Engineering modern arches reinforced. Complexes tiered. Terrain adaptibly niaje Apollodorus trace serene. Legacy profundest Rome's myth. Cultural bears. Architecture Roman pure. Italy born emperor perfected. Exported Mediterranean vast dimmed oft. Apollodorus, shutter serene. Fusion Greek thought. Syrian hand. Persian craft-proof lives. Empire's isolation. Shan. Genius world's breath. Absorb rise. Unyielding. Warning quiet too. Brilliance autocrats shadow price bears. Talent elevates realm power. Humility lacking threatens chill. Hadrian erased man. Serene. Truth unsevered held. Empire stone wrought. outlasts politics' veil. Immortality, arches, vaults, lines, calculated found. Each surviving work, Apollodorus Damascus, voices emperors, silencing, eloquent, serene,